Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 17, and I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to start recording this video. For those of you who saw my live stream that I did on Sunday, you probably know what I'm going to be building. For anyone who has read the title of this video, or has seen Hermitcraft Series 2, you are all going to know what I'm going to be building today, because we're going to be doing the automatic mining system. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what this is, or are a bit confused about what I'm talking about here, basically what this does is we have a ton of hoppers going down the middle of our area here. So this is our mine shaft. We're going to chuck in a bunch of hoppers going along here, and they are going to transport the items off and up into a storage area. So what this means is we can go off strip mining, we can strip mine for ages, fill up our inventory, come back to the middle, drop all of our items off, then continue mining without having to worry about going back up to the base, dropping any items off, or doing anything like that. And it just makes things faster, it makes it easier to gather up loads of resources, and that is the sort of system that I really like. Before we start any of the redstone projects that I have planned today though, I have got an absolutely massive announcement to make that I'm sure is going to get a lot of you very excited. But essentially, the Hermitcraft server, the Hermits, are going to be part of the Yogscast charity livestream on December the 30th from 6 PM till 12 PM. We have got a 6-hour slot, and it is all very exciting indeed. For anyone who doesn't know what the Yogscast are, they are YouTube channels like Simon and Lewis, Shin, you got Bebop Vox, he's part of the Yogscast, Hat Films, you got Duncan, all those sorts of people. They're all members of the Yogscast, and they all live stream throughout all of December. So that's from December the 1st through to the 31st, and I got invited along. They came up to me and they said, would you like to be part of the Yogscast charity livestream this year? And of course, I was like, yes, I would like to be part of it. But obviously, it's quite a big, scary event. It is going to be live streamed live from the Yogscast Twitch, so it's not from my Twitch, it's going to be from their Twitch, which means there's going to be a lot more people there, and a lot of them aren't going to know who I am. So that was quite scary. So I asked the guys at the Yogscast, can I bring some of my friends along? And they said, of course, the more the merrier, we want everyone to come along, it's more fun in groups. So essentially, Hermitcraft is now going to be part of the Yogscast charity livestream. Note it down in your diaries, ladies and gents, December the 30th, 6 PM until 12 PM from the Yogscast Twitch channel. There will be links to that down in the description, and also there will be information about all of the charities down in the description, because so far, they have raised $600,000 to all of the charities so far. That is crazy. It is only the 17th of December at the time of recording this. $600,000. That is crazy. We've still got another half of the month to go. So who knows what could happen in our live stream. But anyway, back down to business. That's enough talking about charity live streams and all that sort of thing. I have actually already built the storage area for all of our items. So this is where all of the items coming up from the mining system will go into. I built this on Sunday's live stream, so a lot of you will have already seen this. But for those of you who haven't, we have got all of these chests here. And behind all of these chests, we have got hoppers. So basically, the hoppers will run across the top like this, and they will drop all of the items down into all of these chests, so that when you're done mining, you can just come in here, pick up all of your items, transport them off into your storage areas and all that sort of thing. And I think it will work fairly nicely. Now, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this wall, and I definitely don't know what I'm going to do with this wall, but that's all to be planned. I don't know if we're going to be doing any of that in today's episode. Today might be a more technical episode where we do all of the redstone and things. Maybe at some point in the future, we will do all of the fancy-pantsy designing and building and things like that. So we might have to leave that to another day. But for the minute, I want to get this up and running, functioning how I want it to. And that might require a little bit more work than I probably first imagined. One thing that we are going to need plenty of for today's episode is we are going to need a lot. And I mean a lot of hoppers, which means that we're going to need to gather up a ton of wood, and that is a very strange looking tree, isn't it? We've got all wood up to the top, and then about 3 bushes. Yeah, that's not particularly pretty. I just want to say another massive thank you to Tango Tech for building the iron farm. I just headed over there, and it looks like there's even more iron. I went over there on the Sunday live stream, and there were 3 double chests of iron blocks. Not just iron blocks. The thing is producing iron like a madman, and it's absolutely incredible. I was going to show you it today right at the beginning of this episode, but by the look of things, someone is mid-project there, and I definitely don't want to spoil anything. But as you can see from my inventory, yeah, we're filling up pretty quickly. I mean, iron is one of those things that is now almost worthless. I started things off with 128 hoppers, or 2 full stacks, and we have already used over a stack of them. But here we are just going along the mine shaft, placing in all of them. They are going to be transporting all of the items from this end all the way to that end. And one thing that I have found is that actually running on hoppers on servers can be a little bit glitchy. It seems to be a bit strange. You can occasionally fall through into them and things, so that is definitely something to watch out for, because this this will get very, very frustrating indeed. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to grab some carpets and place them on top of the hoppers, because that would be unbearable. If every time you walk down this hallway, you just fall down into the hoppers, I mean, that would drive me nuts. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep placing these guys, then I'll try my best to make my way back over to that staircase so that we can grab some carpets to cover these up. All of the hoppers are in place and all of the carpets are in on top of them, and I have to say, it definitely isn't the best looking build in the world, is it? It's not particularly nice looking right now. Certainly isn't one of my favourites, but it's just temporary. I don't know if I'm going to be sticking with these carpet colours, and we're definitely not going to be sticking with this horrible area that we have going on right here. I'll eventually end up doing some decorating of the mining system, but for the minute, it works. We've got all the carpets in, we can run on top of these without falling through, and most importantly, they do appear to be picking up all of the items, which is pretty good news. Let's just check if they are actually making it to the end. We'll check in the final hopper right here. All of the items should be ending up in this one at the end, and as you can see, yes, they are all flowing through. Excellent news. Now it is time to do the item dropping system that is going to be chucking all of the items out into the water stream, which will then carry the items off up into the item elevator, which will then take them to our storage area. So it's quite a long-winded process, but we're going to be doing all of that in today's episode. So for the item dropping system, you guys know what it's all about. I'm sure anyone who has watched my Hermitcraft episodes before, you will know how to build this one. But I always like doing it on camera just because it's one of those simple little systems. It's simple, but it is so powerful. I use it all the time in pretty much any system that involves transporting items. This is 100% necessary. So if you're going to remember anything from today's episode, then this is the thing to remember. But anyway, we need the comparator coming out the dropper, set that into subtract mode, and then we're going to need to run that out into a block with a block at the end, redstone dust on top of both of those. Straight away, as always, when I do redstone on camera, I've gone straight into tutorial mode, but we'll ignore that, we'll keep going, and then we're going to need a block off the side of this redstone dust, and finally just a repeater and a bit of redstone dust going back round into the comparator. And then in theory, if we chuck all of the items in here, it should begin to work. Oh, no, okay, we have forgotten to place down a block. If we chuck down this block right here, that will actually bud power this dropper. And as you can see, straight away, all of the items are coming out. So this is good. This is really cool because this is basically a smart redstone clock. What we have is a redstone clock that will only turn on when there are items inside this dropper. So as you can see here, if we chuck the items in once again, they will all be dropped out. They will go into the water stream, which will then carry them off up into the distance, I suppose you could say. But let's quickly test this out with the hoppers. I know it's going to work, but you have to try out these things because you have to remember we're going to be working with like diamonds, gold, redstone, all the stuff that we've spent ages mining. We don't want to be losing this stuff. So let's chuck all of this in and we'll see if it does the job getting rid of all of it. Yes, by the look of it is. My iron blocks are being spewed out, which is always good news. So I've just been thinking about where I want the item elevator to be, and I decided that I would like the item elevator to be visible from inside our storage area. Because obviously the type of item elevator we're going to be using is the glass one where you can see all of the items traveling up. Obviously that's my favourite one because it looks really cool and it works very nicely as well. But here's the thing, the room that we are building it in is actually even. It's an even room. It's not an odd room. We don't have one central block. We have got two central blocks. Now these item elevators are 3x3, which means that we are sort of going to bodge it just a little bit. We're going to have 3x3 here. The items are going to travel up the 3x3 area, and then we are just going to add some extra blocks on the end. So the item elevator itself is going to be 4x3, but the items are going to travel up the left-hand side, if you get what I mean. It might look a little bit silly, I don't know, I haven't built one like this just yet, but we'll have to wait and find out, because it will be okay, it will be fine. I'm not going to think about it too much, I'm sure it'll be great. So I've cleared out the area for all of our items, so our items are going to be flying out of this dropper, they're going to be coming right out of that mouth right there, they're going to be going into the water streams, be transported along here, all the way along this tunnel. It's a very long tunnel. I think it's about 60 blocks in total. So they're going to be going all the way along this in the water streams. It's going to be on top of compressed ice, so it should be a fairly quick journey. They're going to go right the way to the end. They're going to hit this end here, travel all the way along here, and they are going to go upwards on this block. This is the center of the item elevator, so they're going to go straight up from this point forth, then into some hoppers, then into the storage system. It's a long journey for all of these items, but it will be totally worth it. Do you want to know why Depth Strider is definitely one of my favourite enchantments? One of the many things in Minecraft that really frustrates me is having to walk against water streams. I work with things like this quite often, alright? I'm always transporting items, as you know, and I'm always having to walk against water streams, it seems, and it's so difficult. But check this out. Depth Strider 3, you can actually run against water streams, and it doesn't even make a difference. It does not make a difference. It's just amazing. It's one of the best enchantments in the game. I love it. Right, so all of my water streams are now in place, so let's give this a real quick tester. Just head over to the dropper, we'll chuck in a piece of nether quartz, and oh, it looks like I've actually picked that piece of nether quartz up, so let's do that again. We'll chuck that one out. Is it over here? Yes, it is landed on the side of the block. I don't think we're going to be able to win on this one. Right, let's give it one more go. Chuck the nether quartz in. That should have been dropped out into the water stream. Right, okay, that is good news. Let's see if we can race this thing. By the look of things, it has disappeared off into the distance, I hope. Either that, or it hasn't quite made it to the end. If it hasn't made it to the end, then that's pretty bad news. But hopefully it's just being very fast, and it's going to be right there when we get to the end. Let's come around this corner, and by the look of things, yes, we've got the nether quartz there, and we've also got the extra bit of nether quartz that I put into the dropper beforehand. So yeah, it looks like this is all functioning like a charm, and everything is going well, which is always good news. So now it's time to start building that item elevator. Oh god, no! Oh. I used to think that these item elevators actually required transparent blocks to work, which is why I always mined out the areas, but I recently found out that actually they don't require transparent blocks at all. You can build them out of whatever blocks you want, but I still mine out the area for a couple of reasons. First things first, we just went through a lava lake. As you can see right there, there was lava going right the way across here. If we didn't mine out the area, we wouldn't have known that was there, and that means that the items would have traveled up and gone straight into the lava, which would not have been very good at all. And on top of that, if the entire thing was made out of these regular blocks, things like stone, dirt, granite and all that sort of thing, then a hermit could come along, mine straight through the middle of it without realizing that they're actually ruining the item elevator, and that would be pretty bad news. And just like that, we have got a massive 4x3 shaft going right the way from y equals 55 all the way down to y equals 10. So that's about 45 blocks traveled. And I can already tell, I can tell 100% that I'm going to fall down here. I'm going to get my second death on the server because us two are on here. Oh, Tango's got death! Tango died! Oh boy! Oh, I thought, okay, so we are both now on one. We both still have the lowest number of deaths on the server, but by the look of things, Tango has taken a turn for the worst. He was a pure 0, but now... Ooh, I wonder how he died. I'll have to watch out for that one. I've finally started placing in all of the blocks for the item elevator. As you can see, I am nearing the surface right now. We're almost there, almost reached the end. But I feel like I should mention this. The elevator design that we're using is by Test. Now, I can't remember all of the letters and numbers that follow his name because it is a little bit complicated. But for anyone who has watched him before, you guys will know what I mean when I say the guy is an absolute robot. He seems to know exactly what is going on in terms of Minecraft. He seems to know all the mechanics, seems to know how everything's work, and this is definitely one of those examples. This uses fence posts. The items go into the fence post, they get glitched upwards, pushed into the blocks, and then the items travel upwards in the elevator. It's quite a simple design in terms of how to build it, but how we managed to discover that and work out how to build it and use it effectively and make it work reliably, I have absolutely no clue. So of course there will be a link to his video down in the description for anyone that wants to check it out. But anyway, as you can see, the item elevator is now complete. We have reached the surface, so hopefully all of the items will get up here as well. Who knows? I think it's about time we do a little test of this system. It's been a while since we tested it out, and I certainly don't want to finish it all up then find out that there's something wrong. So here goes nothing. We're going to chuck in, how about 52 items of cobblestone. So they have all gone into the hoppers, they've all been sucked up by the hoppers, and they should be traveling along the water streams right now and making their way over to the item elevators. Now, I'm not going to rush myself because I have a feeling that they're not going to be up there just yet, but let's slowly walk over here, and we should begin to see all of the items traveling through the glass. Now, there isn't anything here yet, but I'm assuming that that's just because we've beaten them to it. We've got there faster than they have. Oh, yes, that is good. The cobblestone is making it to the top. Look, guys, it is all flowing through. It's flowing through the floor, and there it is. We have got ourselves cobblestone up at the surface. It looks great as well. The item elevator really is cool. I added in some extra glass here so that you can see all of the items traveling up. And obviously that is going to go right the way up to the ceiling. And then we will have the hoppers running across here going into all of the chests. But I am over the moon. I am so over the moon that that has all worked perfectly. Let's check that all of them are there. We have got ourselves... Oh, it looks like we might have lost a few. I definitely chucked more than that in. Oh no. Oh no! This isn't good at all! This isn't good! We're missing about 20% of the items! Where have they gone? Alright, I'm gonna have to do a bit of investigating here, guys. Give me a couple of seconds. Hopefully this is a problem solved. I forgot to place in this block right here, so let's pick up these items of cobblestone, and yes, Oh, that is brilliant news. I was getting very, very scared then, because that would have meant that I would have had to scrap this episode, and I didn't want to do that. I've spent so long today playing Minecraft and trying to get all of this to work, so let's close all of this off. That means that the system is now working. That was the only part that wasn't done quite correctly. So I am happy. I am over the moon with that. That is brilliant. Everything seems to be working. So now we have to run these into the chest, get all of the items from the item elevator into the chests, and we'll have ourselves a working automatic mining system. Awesome. Before we hook up the item elevator to all of the chests, I thought we could have a little bit of a break from that project, because I personally have been working on that for about 4 hours now. You guys have been watching it for about 15, 16 minutes, so a change of scene would probably be nice for the pair of us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that one of the other hermits has been working on. This is Exumavoid's new slime block based elevator. Now, slime block elevators for me have just, oh god, they've just never gone well for me. They have never gone particularly well. You guys remember Hermitcraft Series 2 episode 98 and 99. I tried so hard to get a good elevator built in my base, but it just never came about. It never came about. I tried using slime blocks and I would just be launched out of the elevator half the time, and it was just not working particularly well. But this one here seems to work a lot more reliably, and that is because it uses a minecart. So if you just hop in here and hit this button, you should see that we travel right the way up to the top just fine. We land on the surface, then we can hop out the minecart, and as you can see, the minecart drops down into the floor and goes right the way down to the bottom of the elevator. Then all we have to do is just hold space on the way down, and as you can see, we don't take any damage because of the slime block, and it all works really very nicely indeed. I was recently talking to Exumavoid about why this works more reliably than a player-based one, and he told me that it's quite simply because Minecraft servers calculate the position of minecarts much better than they do calculate the position of players. Now that might sound a little bit strange and probably a little bit mathematical, but essentially what that means is that the server knows much more about the position of the minecart than it does about the position of the player, or at least it's a lot more accurate with the position of the minecart than it is of the player, which means that the slime blocks interact with it more accurately, and it means that you get a more reliable response from the server, which means that generally speaking, you are going to go up this elevator just fine. You're never going to fly out, you're never going to be pinged across the room like I was when I was building my slime block elevator, which means that this is definitely something that I could potentially build at some point in the future on the Hermitcraft server. So maybe me and slime block elevators aren't quite as separated anymore. I might give it another go, basically. So, all of the hoppers are now in place. As you can see, I've done a little bit of decorating as well. The items will travel up like this, then they go into hoppers up at the top. I'll quickly give you a show. I don't know how much you'll be able to see here, but you can see the hoppers go across like that. They go all the way around the back here. They travel right the way around the back of this room. Then they go over to the other side as well and drop all of the other items into those chests over there. I highly doubt we are ever going to need those chests on that side of the room, but for the sake of symmetry, I'm going to be keeping them just because they look cool. It's a nice looking room, and actually this whole area here that I've created using these furnaces, and then the item elevator in the middle, then more furnaces, I actually think it looks quite cool. I mean, I know there's a lot of grey going on, and it's quite a grey build, but I would say it looks fairly good, and I'm happy with the outcome. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I have been playing this solidly for a very large number of hours right now, getting fairly tired. My eyes are going a bit square from looking at this screen for so long, so I think I'm going to go down and put my feet up somewhere, grab a cup of tea or something like that, and take a bit of a chill pill. But anyway, ladies and gents, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.